Yeah.
So now we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Lily Zhao. I'm the director at NEO Global Development. Today, I have the great honor to moderate this panel with the two legends, Team Draper and Hongfei. So both are pioneers in their respective fields, and team's name is synonymous with the great American VC success. And that name is synonymous with the open source blockchain innovation in China. So good morning, team.
Good morning. How are you?
Morning, everyone.
And good evening, Da. So team, you are in California, right?
I'm in California.
Yeah.
Where are each of you? Da, are you in China?
Yes, I'm in Shanghai.
Oh, are you locked down?
No, not. I've never been locked down in Shanghai. Actually, I escaped from the lockdown. I visited other cities in China.
Yeah,
that's great.
And I'm based in Zurich.
Unfortunately, a lot of my colleagues, they have to stay at home for a little more than 2 months.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
that would be very difficult.
That's a very unique experience.
Yeah.
And which I don't want to experience anytime soon.
No, ever.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm based in Zurich. Greetings from Zurich. And if team ever visit Switzerland, and do let me know, or to Shanghai. And now the lockdown is over, so.
Oh, terrific.
So, yeah. So these two do not need further introduction. So let's dive straight in. My very first question for you both is, who is Tim and Dan as a person? The public knows you as the iconic entrepreneurs with global impact. So I'm curious, and as a person, what makes you tick? And what do you do for pleasure when you're not working? And how do you unwind and relax after a long working day? So let's start with the team. Your day is so fresh. Yeah.
Good. Well, I have, I like working. And I think that's what keeps me going. I had early success. I mean, it didn't look too good at the very beginning, but then I had some early success, and I think that gave me the confidence to keep pushing. And then we started to have an impact that really did change communications in the world when we funded Hotmail, and that viral marketing that I came up with spread all over the world and made it so products could be spread everywhere. So I kind of felt like that empowered me to keep going and going and going and going. And I realized that it can be pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you don't balance your life a little bit, but I balance mine with my family, and in the summer and just before Christmas time, I usually paint. I will paint one thing in the summer and one thing just before Christmas. So those are, yeah, I don't know if anybody wants them, but people get them. They get my paintings.
Like, it's not NFT, yes.
No, we have an NFT. Oh yeah, one of them, two of them are NFT. One's going up for auction from the art, I think it's art.com. Anyway, they're putting it up for auction, and that's going to go up in September. So yeah, it's a good one. It's fun. It's Bitcoin. It's 6 Californias. It says decentralize everything.
Okay, brilliant. Looking forward to seeing it in September. And I cannot paint to save my life. So now you said painting, I really hope to see more painting from you, Tim.
Thank you.
And
So while Dodd talks, I'll show you kind of what it looks like. Let's see.
Please.
Okay, that's the Bitcoin part. And
Yeah.
then that's the Chinese part. They need to decentralize China. And then there's the American part. They need to decentralize America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the California part where I broke it into 6 pieces.
Six or 3?
Those 4 together, and it's one big piece of art.
That's really beautiful. It's not just meaningful, but also visually beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And Dan?
Yeah, that's it's some real artwork from Tim. And last time I penned is in my primary school. I think I'm my lifestyle is like ordinary urban people in China. Besides work, I do enjoy my life. I like food, both from Michelin star restaurant and also hawker stall. And I also like sports. I used to watch every event of UFC on TV or pay-per-view, but I didn't chase their events lately for quite a while. And I also do sports. I enjoy wake surfing. I went to gym, and recently I also do frisbee, and it's really funny. So I'll say I have a lifestyle of a typical man in their 40s, maybe -5 or 8. Well, I managed to -5 or 8.
Yeah.
A little bit lagging. Yeah.
So yes, it's always, sports is always a good way to keep ourselves relaxed and also healthy. Living in Switzerland, I don't even dare to say I'm sporty because here everyone is just, the Swiss very sporty.
Yeah, I also enjoy traveling, especially before pandemic. I haven't been able to traveling overseas since the pandemic, except once. And the quarantine when I back to mainland China is really exhausting.
Yeah. So
I miss going to China. I've traveled a lot of other places, but I miss a lot going to China. I kind of wish the entrepreneurial spirit would come back in China. I feel like it's been lost to this new government. But
I hope the whole situation will resolve soon. And I know, Tim, you are a very early investor in Baidu, and you believe in Chinese entrepreneurs. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
I loved going to China. Chinese, during that entrepreneurial streak, I was the first Silicon Valley venture capitalist to discover Chinese entrepreneurs. And I think it really paid off. Baidu, Focus Media. And I could have backed Alibaba and I could have backed Tencent, but I just didn't. I didn't bond with them as well as I should have. I think my Chinese was not as good, and their English was not as good, and it's a little difficulty. Rob and Lee spoke perfect English, and that helped.
Yeah, that
so
helps.
One advice from Team, for Chinese entrepreneurs, learn English.
Yeah. Yeah, there's lots of unicorn opportunities still in China. So very good. And this week, we are really excited to kick off this Draper University and NEO Launchpad programs to accelerate the NEO Eco projects. So in this program, we have around 15 innovative startups And to all the startup founders, what top advice would you give them in order to succeed? And what, in your view, is the most common reason startups fail? And what can be done to prevent that? So let's start with Tim. This is more your area of expertise.
So here's what I've seen. Here's what I'll tell you a little bit more, maybe what we look for, which might help the entrepreneurs think about their own business. Since we're seed investors, we look for anything that I say to myself, when the entrepreneur pitches me, I say to myself, could I start this business? And if the answer is yes, I won't fund it. I'm looking for a business that cannot be easily started, but that an entrepreneur is completely, it's like it was meant to be. It's like they found their place in life. It has to have that kind of a feeling to it. So if you are starting a business and you don't feel like you found your place in life, rethink it, think it over, because starting business is hard. And I'm going to tell you that now because getting money is getting harder and harder and harder. So you are going to go through a very difficult time. You have to totally love what you're doing. And then if you really love what you're doing and you can't help yourself from doing it, then you're on the right track. And then the other thing is, when you start the business, they don't always take off quickly. In fact, some of the best companies will go 15 years before they turn the corner and start up. So you have to really keep your head down. My son says, be the cockroach. The cockroach never dies. You have to be the cockroach and just keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. And then if you do, people will eventually recognize your genius. And so that I think might be the best advice today. In the middle of the boom time, there was you could have started almost anything and gotten funding, but today I think it's going to be very difficult. So you got to know that what you're doing is the right thing. And we like to look for, if you can get into an industry where the current incumbents are monopolies or oligopolies and they're providing bad service at a high cost. If you can find that kind of an industry, then going in there and getting a wedge into that industry is probably a good place to be. And I'll give you a few examples. Banking. Bitcoin came in after banking was providing bad service at a high cost, and they had that big crash in the financial market. DA came in with smart contracts. I think the legal world needs complete transformation. So NEO is going to be very good for that. The drug business, those guys, it's an oligopoly and they provide the worst service at the highest cost. Even in the US, this was the first year, or last year was the first year that our longevity went down. First year. And I would give that, I would blame the drug companies for that. I think insurance companies need transforming. And so I think we're going to have great, if your business is going after one of those industries in some way, just getting a wedge into those industries, I think you've got a pretty good shot at being a unicorn.
Thank you for sharing this. As you mentioned, this incumbents, it's very hard for startups to compete with them, especially in the beginning. And now with technology, decentralized technologies, and that would help to scale the costs. And so let's really hope that the startups will have a chance to compete with these incumbents. that service is offered at less than desired at higher costs. So Da, you want to comment on this?
Yeah, I think I can give some advice to the crypto entrepreneurs. And there's one very important advice I'd like to give, which is please attach great attention to cybersecurity. What sets crypto business apart from traditional business is that if you got hacked, if your token got stolen, in a great chance, the police, the FBI, will not help you. And the asset of your company, of your customers were lost. So hire developers with a good security sense, educate your existing developers and your operation team. And second, you need to do a full audit before you launch your product, and please find a audit company with good reputation, not some companies that you just pay them, they write a audit report for you. And thirdly, you should not rush. You should give some time to your smart contract, your product, and start small. Do not accept too much money before your smart contract get published, be tested in the open market. So these are advices I'd like to give to the crypto entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much, Da, for sharing this. This is really valuable and it also reflects Neil's approach. We have always placed, security development first. So now, in our joint program, we have 15 innovative startups, and so this is a great piece of advice for them. And in terms, back to this our joint program, that was the driver behind Neil's offering this learning opportunity to the eco projects, and also team, in terms of this joint program as compared to Draper University's other programs. What's the main differentiator, and ultimately, and what outcomes do you both hope to achieve offering this program to the eco projects?
Neo, you go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the short answer is the time has come. We have been building the new version of Neo, which is called Neo N3, for a couple of years, and we launched the mainnet of N3 last year in August. So it's almost 1 year since the mainnet launched, and after 1 year, we are confident to say that Neo N3 is really secure and it's stable, and we've finished all the functionalities we've written in the white paper, and also we have a fully functional set of toolchains for the developers to use. So we think it's time to do some introduce to the market, to let the developers know that there is a new breed of smart contract platform that is completely different from Ethereum, and for them to learn the new smart contract system and to build on top of Neo.
What are a few of the things that are new in N3 that the developers should be aware of?
Yeah, we have a lot of new features, including a built-in Oracle. So Oracle is a module that can communicate with outside of the Neo blockchain itself. It can exchange information between conventional website, let's call it Web 2 applications, with Web 3 applications. So basically, it connects the traditional internet to the Web 3 internet. So that's one feature. And we also have a built-in decentralized storage for Neo. So developers can store their NFT image, video, maybe a scan of the artwork in a decentralized way. And they do not need to learn how to use IPFS or other solutions. They can do it just in all in one.
Terrific. So at Draper University, we train heroes, and I think groups like NEO team up with us because they know that we have had great success with training heroes. Entrepreneurs need more than just to know how to do a pitch or how a Series A financing works and all the blocking and tackling of a financial business. Entrepreneurs need to know that they've got to be resilient, that they have to love their customer, that they have to be willing to try things that might be embarrassing. They need to think about and imagine a world and then lead the world to it. And that is not an easy task. And so we create heroes, and we do very unusual curriculum usually in the hero training. And we always seem to have, no matter what, whether it's hero training or a NEO class or a class with Koreans or whatever it is, we always put our spin on it and put this spirit of entrepreneurship in people and get them to have a willingness to try things. We say, I will fail and fail again until I succeed. And that puts into people's heads, hey, this isn't going to be easy. We are going to probably fail the first couple of times and eventually we'll get there. But we're going to try whatever it takes. And I think that's basically what we're trying to put into people's heads. We like to take the people through what is the problem you're solving, or what is the problem you really care about? How are you going to solve that problem? What's your product or service going to do for that problem? And then how do you make money with that product or service? Because nobody does anybody any favors if they don't make money. And then how do you distribute that product or service? How do you get the world to learn about it? We take them through that thinking, and then we take them through this like physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual voyage. And so that's why Draper University is so unique. We now have eight unicorns that have come out of Draper University, and we're only 10 years old.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing. So, what we see, in often the case for tech projects, they have really strong technical competence, but in terms of the business and commercial awareness, that's where we need to provide further support. And that's what we are, really, what NEO can provide is lots of technical resources and competence. Now, we also providing this business and commercial aspect. So speaking of entrepreneurship in the blockchain space in particular, do you both see whether there are any success factors that are unique to Web3 entrepreneurs, Web3 startups, as compared to Web2 ones?
Dai, you want to take that first?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go first. Yeah. I think sometimes people will be confused by the word Web 3. It seems like Web 2 is the next version of Web 1, and Web 3 is the next version of Web 2. But there are really completely different things. My understanding of Web 1 is it's the original form of internet. It's an information portal. It's one way. The website delivers information to the reader, to the consumer, and Web 2.0 is the platform, the marketplace, where creators and consumers are organized in a big marketplace by the owner of by the company, internet company behind the platform. And regarding to Web 3, it's doing both Web 1 and Web 2, but in a decentralized way, in a revolutionized protocol, which use a token as the governance stake, instead of relying on the business law of certain jurisdiction, because Web 1 and Web 2 are built within certain jurisdiction and in their framework, a legal framework. But Web 3 is building above all the legal framework. It is organized, governed by the token, by the law of code itself. So to be a Web 3 entrepreneur, you have to be more than a traditional, conventional entrepreneur. You have to be more than a businessman. You have to be more than a good engineer. You need to be a visionary. You need to think out of the box. You need to believe the power of decentralization. And sometimes, because it is so different, Web 3 is so different from conventional business model. Sometimes you even have to be like a rebel, a deviant. You need to be really unorthodox.
Thank you very much, Da, for the sharing. Team?
I like Da's description of Web 3. It's because some people call Web 3, they're really just thinking of VR or AR. They aren't thinking of the decentralized part of it, and so it's a confusing and difficult concept to think Web 3. Web 3 could mean whatever happens over the next 5 years, and then there'll be Web 4, but we won't. It'll be something entirely. I think Da hit on the strongest point, which is decentralization. You saw my painting at the beginning of this session. It says decentralize everything. I have a t-shirt that says decentralize everything. And I think we've got a really interesting opportunity, and the world is going to go through a major overhaul. And people really need to get on board and say, hey, this is going to be great. And so I'm excited that we've got 15 neo startups out there doing different things, because they're going to help decentralize the world. They're going to make smart contracts smarter. They're going to do some great things. So I'm glad you're out there.
I do agree that decentralization will be let's say, a leap of faith for the human being. And we are shifting from the traditional ways to organize the society, to collaborate, to a new kind of model we've never seen before. And it will bring a tremendous change to the human society globally.
Decentralization is definitely a technical enabler, but there are so many human elements in it. So for the technology to really trickle down in every sector, it really takes time. It's probably a very incremental journey. But this is super interesting. But let's move on to our startups. So now I really want to take this opportunity to ask more questions on the for the startups. So for we're now in a bear market, and for the startups and for the entrepreneurs, developers building in such a phase, what advice would you give to them?
Da, you want to start?
Yeah.
I think first of all, the entrepreneur should strengthen their belief. They have to believe what they do. They have to believe in crypto, in decentralization. If they have any doubts, they should talk to people in this industry and to really find out what's their doubt and to iron things out. So first of all is belief, and second is they should build instead of talk. I saw many crypto startups. They attend a lot of conferences, meetings, seminars. I think it's a good time for them to settle down, to really build the things they described in their white paper. And third, I think they should get funding as soon as possible, instead of waiting for a higher valuation. Time is money, but sometimes money is also time. They should get money get money soon, and only well-funded projects, teams can survive the winter of crypto.
Yeah, I would agree with Da on all of that. I would also say create a love for your customer. Really emotionally attach yourself to your customer and figure out who that customer is and what they're getting out of it. I ran into so many cryptocurrency companies, so many ICO opportunities that I turned down, probably was wrong in many cases. But the reason I turned them down was they showed how they were going to raise the money in their ICO, but then they never told me how why an end customer would want to buy into their currency, why they would want to use their currency. And that was a really important question that I was asking them. And I think that they really have to, I mean, all of you entrepreneurs out there that are listening, I think you should really pay attention to who it is that's going to be buying your service and what they're going to be doing with it and how you can make their life better. Whether you make it much easier for them or it happens automatically in the background or whatever. It is the best entrepreneurs in the world, Robin Lee, the Nicholas Zenstrom at Skype, the Elon Musk, all of them showed a real love for customers. And they really said, I remember Nicholas Zenstrom saying, well, we are going to delight our customers. And Robin Lee used the exact same word. We're going to delight our customers. And Elon said, inside of him was, I'm not only going to delight my customers, but I am going to save the world with my products. And I think that if you feel that way, like I can save the world with this product, or this product is going to really make a big impact, then you will care about it a lot. And I think that's how the difference between a unicorn and $1 trillion company is the idea that you're going to go in there and you're going to save the world.
Thank you both.
He won't sleep. Elon won't sleep until he's done everything he needs to do.
That's great insight and advice for entrepreneurs. So, believe in your vision regardless of, boom or bear market, believe in that. And this really also reflects in Neil's vision and approach. And then focus on your customers and then change the world. So really great tips. Now our time is running out, and one more question, last question. So now looking into the future, what do you think? When do you think mass adoption will happen? Mass adoption of blockchain technology and digital assets. I know no one is talking about mass adoption in the bear market, but for believers, whether it's bear market or bull market, and we are actively working towards that. And another question is, how does mass adoption look like to you, from seen from different angles? So Dad, do you want to start first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I remember, team. I remember you predicted that Bitcoin will pass $10,000 in before 2017, and you predicted in 2014, and it did exactly in 2017. And you also predicted Bitcoin will hit how much? 250,000 in 2023.
Yeah, either the end of this year or early next year. That's my prediction.
Okay, so we're around a year away. Yeah. Let's wait and see. But we're in a bear market now. I don't have a crystal ball, but I know I just checked before this seminar that US, EU, and China is three of the biggest economic area in the world, and each of them represent around 16% of the global GDP in a purchasing power standard. So I think if crypto becomes mainstream, I think it has at least represent, let's say, 5% of the global total GDP. So that will be around 5 trillion, because it is around 100 trillion US dollars last year. So the economic output of crypto industry will be around 5 trillion. And today the total market cap of crypto is just, the total market cap is just around 1 trillion. So we have a long way to go. I was if I had to guess, I would say it would take at least 5 to 10 years for crypto to become mainstream.
So yeah, that's probably about right. The things that that I'm thinking about are a couple of things. One is that women used to be only 1 out of every 14 Bitcoin wallets, and now it's about 1 out of every 6. And women control 80% of retail spending. And when retailers realize with things like OpenNode and Lightning Network, when they start realizing that they can, when the retailers start realizing that they can save 2% every time somebody swipes a credit card, that 2% goes straight to their bottom line, they're going to all want to accept Bitcoin, maybe Neo and others. And I think that moment will happen. And then when the consumer realizes that they can buy their food, their clothing, and their shelter all in Bitcoin, people aren't going to want to hold on to fiat currencies. And I think if it hits 5%, it's going to hit 95%, and people will bail out on their currencies super fast. They're going to be getting rid of their dollars and their renminbi and their naira and their pesos as fast as they possibly can, and buying into Bitcoin and other cryptos because they're just better currencies. The cryptocurrencies are just better, and that will happen super fast, but it has to hit its inflection point. And I think that inflection point is coming, and it really is reliant on, great engineers like Da and his team and other great engineers who are building out the entire economic system. Once it's built out, it's easier to pay in Bitcoin, and you save money in paying in Bitcoin. Everybody's going to use Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. So I feel like it's coming, and usually the investor leads the consumer by about 6 months, and so I think the investor will see it fairly soon, maybe 6 months, maybe a year from now, and the consumer will see it about 2 years from now, and then it'll be, you're not going to want to hold on to any of your fiat currency because it will disappear in value. It'll be like the Confederate money after the war, or the Greek drachma after they went to the euro, or in India where they had to run on the currency recently. I think it'll be a very different world. So that's exciting, and I think it's going to be really. I think once Bitcoin goes to 250,000, I think it's going to go blowing through it, and I think other cryptocurrencies are going to do very well, particularly the ones like NEO that have great support, good engineering behind them, good technology, good security. And people have great confidence in them. So I always talk about trust and freedom. They're both two sides of the same coin, according to Sri Ravi Shankar, his guru, who has 500 million followers. The trust, freedom. You can't have freedom without trust. You can't have trust without freedom. But if you build trust into a great cryptocurrency, people will follow. This is going to be a really exciting time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Great being on your show. Thank you. And to you entrepreneurs, go get them. Take chances. Do great things. And do things that you didn't think were possible, but might take a little longer. Always worth it to think 5, 10, 15 years out, because that 5, 10, or 15 years comes faster than you think.
Thank you so much, team and Da, for this sharing, insightful sharing, and especially on the last point, on a positive note. Yes, we're living in very exciting times. So now, looking forward to what's happening in the next couple of years. And we are running out of time. Thank you so much. And we still have some questions from the audience. So please stay just for a few more minutes. And let's check the questions, team. I saw some, yes. So we have Alex Walker, a question for Da. Da, are you going to be doing more public talks now that, in your view, NEO technically is ready? What are your plans to spread the word of NEO further than existing NEO community?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I'm not locked down in Shanghai, but the pandemic just prevented me from traveling globally. But I intend to spend most of my second half of this year outside of China, maybe in Singapore, US, and probably Dubai, to to be more able to directly connect with the crypto community. So yes, so the answer is yes. I'm ready to show up more for NEO. And also NEO is not just ready. It is I'll say it is quite mature, because we have been running the N3 version for a year, and it's very well polished.
Thank you. Next question from Dylan. I would be curious to learn if Draper University offers different type of support or help to blockchain projects versus other tech products that go through the university. So, Tim?
Yeah, each time we run a class, it's different, because as you know, technology moves forward, and it was back in, I think we started the university in 2013, and in our first class, all we were talking about was Bitcoin. And other universities took about 5 years to figure it out. We are always evolving. So each time we have a new class, it's going to be a little different. Each time we bring in another cryptocurrency, it's going to be a little different. And so we do evolve our classes. So it doesn't, one thing is very clear: we do not have anything that's standard except the pledge. Our Draper University pledge stays the same all the way through, but the rest of it will evolve. And so you will hopefully pick up some very interesting pieces as you go, and maybe pick up some real human personal resilience as you go through. But I can't be sure exactly what it is you will learn.
Yeah. So very adaptable to the market needs and development. Yeah. And yes, we have time for maybe one more question. Is there a plan to incentivize these NEO eco projects to interact with Neoverse to give holders some perks? That's from NEO dashboard.
Yeah, I think this question is for me. Yeah. Yeah, the answer is yes. We have a fund called NEO Eco Fund, and or in short, it's called NEO Eco. NEO Eco will be funding projects, not just metaverse or NFT projects, but all sorts of projects which are beneficial to NEO ecosystem. They don't necessarily need to be building or solely building on top of NEO. As long as they're beneficial to NEO ecosystem, the NEO Eco Fund will be pleasure to fund them, and also metaverse will play a very important role in the future of NEO. So if you have some project that are beneficial to NEO ecosystem, especially in the metaverse sector, please contact us. Yeah, visit neo.org and you will find all the contact information of NEO Eco Fund.
Yeah, great. Maybe there's some co-investment investment opportunities with Draper Ventures.
And also, if you have a blockchain or crypto project that is not related to NEO, please go to Team, go to Draper Dragon.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Tim at Draper.vc. So
yeah.
if you've got a really interesting project, please send it to me. We'd be happy to look at it for funding.
Yeah. Excellent. On these very positive notes, we have to conclude this really enjoyable and insightful chat. Thank you so much, Tim and Da, for sharing your insights and wisdom for your time. And also thank you everyone who joined us online. And thank you very much. Hope to see you guys all next time. As mentioned, if you have any questions regarding NEO or Draper University, please join our respective community and ask your questions. And we'd love to see you all interact on this. So thank you also for the organizers for making this happen, our teams behind the scene. Thank you, everyone.
Terrific. Nice seeing you, Da. And Lily, good job.
Yeah,
thank you,
thank
team.
you.
You strengthened my belief.